Hello, ghouls and goblins. Welcome back to Insomniac. I am your host, Miss Red. Hi, hello. Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening, morning, night, day, whatever the heck it is for you. So, yeah. So what we do here on this particular show is we talk about weird, creepy, and strange things. And this particular episode is entitled Dangerous Drugs. Not always what you think. And every episode, I also coordinate my makeup to go with it. So my inspiration is actually Marilyn Manson's song, I Don't Like the Drug. Because, yeah, it's kind of true, right? We don't necessarily like the drugs, but they certainly like us. So let's go ahead and just kick this thing right off, right? So our first drug is acetaminophen. Yeah, anybody hear that? Anybody know that? So that is the technical name for it. It's also called Tylenol in the States. In Europe, it's called Madpap and Feverol. Okay? And it's used mostly, of course, for pain relief. It's the most dangerous out of these because in most countries, it's an over-the-counter medication. Okay? The overdose on Tylenol causes liver damage, liver failure. In fact, 250 cases each year are reported in the United States to liver failure caused by overdose on Tylenol. Okay, it also causes kidney damage, bladder cancer, all sorts of nasty stuff with your digestive system. Okay. So, yeah, some more statistics on Tylenol is 100 unintentional deaths, 50,000 ER visits, 25,000 hospital stays a year just in the U.S. because of Tylenol, because of people overdosing themselves on Tylenol, taking too much. So, yeah, Tylenol. There's instructions on the back of the bottle for a reason, folks. And it's, yeah. And if your pain is that bad that Tylenol or the over-the-counter medications and stuff are not working for you, please go visit a friggin' hospital. Go visit your doctor because you don't want to overdose even on OTC medications, over-the-counter medications. It's dangerous, nasty stuff. Number 2, and this one should kind of be a no-brainer, it is alcohol. Known as booze, beer, wine, ale, suds, shine, you name it. It's got 1,000 different nicknames and 1,000 different names and, you know, all over the world. So, yeah. About 88,000 people die from alcohol-related causes each year. Just in the U.S. So it does. Now that is just people, you know, getting overly intoxicated and their liver shuts down, their kidneys shut down, the respiratory system shuts down, the whole frickin' 9 yards. You know, the thing about alcohol that most people do not realize is that the intoxication we feel is actually our liver can't keep up with how much alcohol we're putting into our system. And so then our system is actually being poisoned. Okay? Alcohol is actually a poison. Some creepy facts about alcohol all in itself is the fact of what it actually is. So, alcohol. It's created by yeast. So they take a product that yeast like to eat, such as hops or barley or fruit or something of that nature, corn, in the case of moonshine, and they put what's called lager's yeast in with it and some water and some sugar, and they put it in there and they let it sit. So the yeast eats all of the fruit or grain or whatever the heck is in there, along with the sugar. And then they, and then of course they start to secrete waste. They start to poop and pee, you know, as everything that eats poops, right? And what's left over and created from that process of them eating is called ethanol. That is what alcohol is. We are eating bacteria poop. And then, of course, to finish off the course, there is chemicals that are put in to kill the yeast off. So they stop producing the ethanol. And then they usually add sugar and flavorings and preservatives. So honestly, all of us that like to get drunk, we're getting drunk on yeast poop. And it is so dangerous because that statistic I told you, the 88,000 people that die, and that is in North America alone each year, that is just from overdosing on alcohol poisoning. That is not including, you know, like car crashes or, you know, any sort of accidents that happen because of alcohol. That is just people over-consuming alcohol and then dying from the overconsumption. Okay? It is the third leading cause of death in the United States. Yeah. So drink responsibly. Number 3, benzodiazepines. Okay? They're also called benzos, Xanax, Valium, Klonopin. Okay? They are a very, very specific class of antidepressant and anti-anxiety medication. Okay? ODing on these causes respiratory depression, which means that your lungs your lungs stop breathing for you. Okay? Stroke, ulcers, liver damage, and brain damage. Okay? They are involved in 31% of overdose deaths in the United States, since they're often combined with other substances. So, majority of the time, unless a person is trying to commit suicide, they'll take these things and then they'll like drink alcohol or something, and it's supposed to give them like this weird trippy out high. The problem with doing this is that now you got 2 killers in your system at once that your body is being poisoned by. So the benzodiazepines, you know, shut down pretty much everything. The alcohol makes your brain not function right, so then you don't know exactly how much of these things you're doing after you've done the booze. So it's bad news bears. You guys, do not take benzos for recreational use. They will kill you. Okay? Number 4, antidepressants. Now, this is major antidepressants. You know, these are the ones that almost everybody is given. The benzodiazepines, they work on the brain chemicals in a different way. Antidepressants are actually benzodiazepines. They change your body chemistry more than they change your brain chemistry. Antidepressants actually block serotonin, which is one of the chemicals that makes us feel kind of zen, depressed. It helps with the promotion of fear, anxiety, pain. And antidepressants, they depress that depressive chemical. You know, they block your brain from being able to absorb so much of it. So these ones are like Zoloft, Prozac, Cymbalta, Wellbutrin, there's just, and that's just to name a few. There's hundreds of them out there. And they're used purely for major mood and depression disorders. Sometimes ADHD, OCD, anxiety. So yeah, misdiagnosis, improper dosage, and overdose ironically lead to paranoia, suicide, heart attack, stroke, angina, aneurysms, blood clots, and the list goes on and on and on. Heart failure is a huge thing that they test for. If you decide to OD yourself on antidepressants, that's like one of the first tests that they do. If you ever end up in the ER for it, they have to take your blood. They have to. Majority of people that end up ODing on antidepressants also end up in psychiatric lockdown. Okay, whether they're yours or you bought them off of somebody on the street. Just because the whole point of this medicine is so you're not depressed, but you took enough of it that could potentially kill you or damage you to the point where they may not ever be able to fix your behavioral problems. So, yeah, it's, again, really, really helpful if you do have depression, anxiety, and disorders. But please, again, please, for goodness sake, use them wisely. Use them as your doctor prescribes. And if they aren't working correctly, do not up the dose on your own. Go back to your doctor, have them do blood tests, have them evaluate you, and go from there, because these things kill. Again, they kill. All the things on this list are killers. And yeah, we all want to see you alive and happy. Number 5, caffeine. It's dangerous because it's considered food staple in most countries. I mean, who loves coffee? Who loves coffee? Raise your hands. Who feels like they can't get through their day without coffee or chocolate or soda or the millions of other things that we put caffeine into? I mean, come on. They even have caffeine gum. So, and of course, this is something you can buy in pretty much everywhere that sells foodstuffs and medicines and all that sort of thing. So, since it is considered a food staple in most countries, an overdose of caffeine, which isn't as much as you would think, leads to heart attack, stroke, paranoia, palpitations, respiratory arrest, ulcers, liver disease, kidney stones, irritable bowel disease, Crohn's disease, dementia, esophageal cancer, which is cancer of your esophagus right here. Yep, this part right here that you swallow with, cancer of that, rectal cancer, so cancer in your butthole, and lots more. Okay. Now, the reason why this one, a lot of people like to do things like pound coffee and pound energy drinks, or eat like a whole thing of chocolate ice cream or a whole bag of candy, or drink 5 sodas a day. That is way, way, way too much caffeine. And it could, and while you may not get most of these things immediately, in time, you will have these things. And, I have family members that have had heart attacks because and unfortunately, yes, this is a stimulant that is coupled with everything, from alcohol to cigarettes to just everything. It's very difficult to not find a drink nowadays that doesn't contain caffeine. Especially if it's a drink that has sugar in it. So, yeah, I mean, read the packaging of the things that you're consuming, because caffeine actually is considered a drug, especially in the United States of America. So caffeine is actually regulated to a certain degree by the FDA because of these factors. So when you consume caffeine, that's why they have instructions on the products that contain caffeine on serving size and things. And I know that even like some types of energy shots and things like stock shots and 5-hour energy, that's why they have the instructions on the bottle. That's almost like prescription instructions or instructions for over-the-counter medications. It's because you drink like four of those 5-hour energy shots back to back, and you will stroke out. You'll stroke out. You will die. If you don't, you're going to be very, very sick in very, very short order. Because, yeah, you just put you might as well have like done like, 3 lines of cocaine. Or just stuck them right in your butt. It's that dangerous. So please, again, consume your caffeine products wisely. Also, withdrawals of any sort are no fun. And that's the other thing about all of these drugs. They all can kill you if you just decide to up and quit taking them cold turkey. So yeah. Consume your coffee wisely. Number 6, cocaine. Cocaine. There they go. Meow. Right? Also known as blow, coke, and its little cousin, crack, which is pretty much where they just moisturize the cocaine a little bit so that it starts to ball and stick together and forms kind of what they call a rock, because that's what it looks like. Yeah. And it's also known by a lot of other nicknames. But it is a stimulant, and it causes heart disease, hypertension, organ failure, respiratory problems, necrotizing of the flesh. You guys, this shit eats your flesh. Eats your flesh. You can Google it. People that have whole parts of their noses and their upper lip gone because of their consumption of cocaine and crack. Okay? All right. It causes weight loss, seizures, various skin diseases, cartilage diseases, and digestive cancers. Okay. 14,000 people die of cocaine-related deaths in the U.S. alone each year. And these are just the ones that are documented. So yes, while it's always been known as the white rich person's drug because it is expensive, there's a lot of people that still do crack and do cocaine. And the other thing is that this is one of those types of narcotic drugs that you have to keep using more and more to get the same high. Why? Because it's literally killing the tissues that absorb it to give you that buzz. It's literally eating, because that's the thing. How it works is your body actually ingests it through the tissues in your sinuses, in your esophagus, in your nose cavity and everything. And the crystalline structure, I guess you would say, of the cocaine cuts up your skin, and it eats and kills your skin cells and your nasal tissues and your, the whole thing in your face. Okay. It liquefies it. So over time, yes, you could be without a nose. You could be without an upper lip. You could lose all your teeth. There's a million things that this stuff can do to you. So please, just leave it be. If you're feeling that you really need that kind of boost, please go to your doctor. Go to your doctor and talk to them. You know, there's so many other ways that you can, deal with life and with things than literally taking something that eats your face. Number 7, cough medicine. Now, this one's definitely included because, have you guys ever wondered why they lock up cough medicine in the United States? Why certain cough medications you have to ask for from the pharmacist? Yeah. Well, there was a trend in the 90s. In the 90s, they used to call it tussing, okay? And teenagers started buying cough syrup with a certain chemical in it that I'm about to tell you about to get high. And they would chug this shit, and they would get kind of a high drunk sort of thing going on. Problem is this. These ones could be NyQuil, Robitussin, Theraflu, etc. Like I said, it mostly used to be an over-the-counter style medication. Okay, but overdosing on this drug causes all the same issues as cocaine and caffeine put together. Okay, so yeah, remember all that stuff? I mean, all that stuff. It eats your tissues, it causes seizures, weight loss, respiratory problems, organ failure, digestive cancers, cartilage cancer, skin cancer, liver disease, ulcers, Crohn's disease, dementia, esophageal cancer, rectal cancer, heart palpitations, paranoia, heart attack, stroke, respiratory arrest. I mean, and the list goes on and on. There's a bajillion things that could happen to you when you overdose on this stuff, because an overdose is poison. So yeah. So it does all that stuff. Okay? And it's because if oh my goodness, it contains DXM. Okay? And DXM is dextromethorphan. Okay? So if it's cough syrup that has dextromethorphan in it, yeah, it's going to kick your ass. And on top of all the things I mentioned previously, you can add dementia, hallucinations, intoxication, disassociation, which is where you can't find your feet, you can't find your face, you don't know where you are, you don't know what your name is, you start to kind of your personality can start to split, the whole 9 yards. Okay? And of course, vomiting. The list of wonderful symptoms. Hypoxia and nerve damage too. So yeah, this stuff, it just, no. The high is not worth it. The high is not worth it, kids. So yes, this is why if you want cough syrup that has DXM in it, you got to go get it from the pharmacist directly. They don't put it out on the shelves anymore. And yeah, if you are a person that is large in stature and takes this thing, large in stature, large in girth, and takes one of these cough medicines because this is what works for you, ask the pharmacist, based on your height and weight, how much you should take, or your family doctor, because yeah, you don't want to OD on this stuff. I mean, the whole point of taking this stuff is to help yourself feel better when you're sick. So you don't want to die because you overdosed yourself trying to make yourself feel better. It's kind of counterintuitive. So yeah. Just, yes, talk to the professionals. That's why they're there. They can give you the information so that you can get well safe. Number 8, heroin and opioids. So heroin and opioids originally is made from the extract of certain types of poppy seeds, right? And poppy plant. Okay, can be very, very useful stuff as far as pain goes. That's why it has been used a very, very long time by doctors' offices and stuff. Well, now we've gotten a really, really great idea of the side effects of opioids, and it's deadly shit. It's deadly shit. It just is. And because of that, the United States has actually taken its war on drugs and targeted opioid products. So there's a little bit of controversy with this because some people genuinely need that type of pain medication to get by and get through. And there's a lot of people that have things like unincurable cancers and lung diseases and things that it's like just make them comfortable. So yeah, you have heroin and opioids, and you also have things like morphine, pretty much anything that has codeine in it, all of these types of things. Any of them that you would get from your doctor that they label as a narcotic probably has opioids in it. But it is definitely no joke. It leads to collapsed veins, especially in the case of heroin use because people inject it into their bodies. Okay. Necrotized flesh, again, just like cocaine, it liquefies your flesh. Okay. Infections everywhere. I mean, because this stuff kind of destroys your skin and your tissues and everything systematically, and it also takes down your immune system. So then you're really, really at risk for, you might as well have an autoimmune disease, because you're going to catch every little nasty cold flu infection that comes your way, okay? Abscesses in all of your organs. Okay, abscesses are a pus-filled sac, and just like oysters, something irritating gets into that sac. So say you've got a sweat gland, okay? To get something irritating into it. Okay? Your body will form kind of like a skin balloon around that. And so then your body, your immune system says, okay, we need to get rid of whatever is in this bubble, get rid of it, eliminate it somehow. So then it starts sending white blood cells in there, like the troops coming out in full force. The problem is that now there's this big thing, and they can't get this thing out. They can't destroy it. So it just keeps filling up with dead, white cells, your T cells. And so, and so that's why abscesses and things like that stink like something rotted and died when they are popped, because it is something has rotted and died, your white blood cells, and that's what that nasty goopy crap that comes out of them is. So I know a lot of people like to watch shows like Dr. Pill Popper and all that. Yeah, that's what you watch and come out of people's bodies. Well, opioids causes these in all of the organs too, which can cause organ failure and cancer and all sorts of stuff. So yes, it can also cause, opioids can cause kidney disease, big time, seizures, heart attack, stroke, embolisms, cancers, ulcers, hysteria, drug-induced schizophrenia, okay? Various lung, heart, nose, skin, liver, vein, and stomach issues. And it can make your hair fall out. So yeah, opioids are no joke. If you're prescribed opioids by a doctor, please do not abuse them. You will regret it. And don't take heroin, okay? Just don't take heroin. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. The high is not worth it. You're more likely to die than get high, okay? Period. Number 9, nicotine. Another mostly legal recreational drug. A lot of countries are scaling back on nicotine and everything. In fact, the United States is thinking of taking menthol cigarettes. I guess they made it official. I heard through the grapevine they made it official that they were going to take menthol cigarettes off the market to make them less palatable. And in the United States some years ago, I think about 3 years ago, actually made it where you can't buy cigarettes and tobacco products at 18 years of age anymore. You have to wait until you're 21. And yeah, the reason why is because nicotine is legally recreational almost everywhere. There are certain cultures where it's also used in spiritual practice. But the thing is that nicotine, which is a derivative that comes from tobacco that's supposed to help protect the tobacco plant from bugs and things, it's actually, like I just said, it's a pesticide. It's a poison produced by the tobacco plant so that when a bug bites it, it gets poisoned and dies. Well, it does the same thing in us. It kills our little bugs, like the good bacteria in our bodies that help protect our organs and protect our well-being, because at least half of our body is made of bacteria colonies and viral colonies that actually help protect our bodies. So yeah, it kills those off systematically. And of course, the result of that is that 480,000 people in the United States, just the United States, almost 500,000 people die from nicotine abuse related diseases. And of course, it causes about 90% of lung related deaths. So, I mean, I'm still a smoker, and that's the other thing. It is highly addictive. I have not found anything that I couldn't quit on my own except for cigarettes. I have been trying to quit for years. It's highly, highly addictive. And yeah, if you haven't started with nicotine, don't start, and the reason why I keep saying nicotine is because now we also have vape, which in most cases has nicotine in it. Vape kind of doubles the danger because the moisture in vape from vaping, it also can cause you, you're putting nicotine into your lungs, which is the chemical that's going to systematically kill the good bacteria in your lungs that helps protect it from getting bad bacteria and viruses in there that can cause diseases, right? Okay. So you're killing that off. And then on top of that, you're throwing water in your lungs, which our lungs don't operate well with water. So once that nicotine is absorbed in there and kills all the good bacteria that and everything that fights to prevent the bad bacteria from coming in, now you got water in there in a warm, dark, moist place. So what's going to grow once your good bacteria is gone? The bad bacteria you're breathing in. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why, to a certain degree, vaping can be more dangerous than even smoking cigarettes. But I highly suggest, if you haven't started either one, don't. Because it causes all sorts of problems. Heart attack, stroke. It makes you age, twice as fast. It kills off. It actually starts to destroy your myelin, which is the insulator caps on the end of your neurons and everything in your nervous system. So it can cause autoimmune diseases. It can do, there is just so much crap that nicotine does to the body, which is why I'm trying to quit smoking, because, I like to not be miserable for the rest of my life and not have my autoimmune disease get any worse. So, if you can, quit. And the last one, okay? And this one is a big one. And the last one is love. Okay? And I'm not talking about love as the commitment love. I'm talking about love as in infatuation, physical attraction love, chemical love. Okay? It's a drug. It's a drug. So what happens when you find yourself physically in love with somebody else? Your brain pumps itself full of chemicals and pumps your body full of chemicals. It pumps you full of hormones and pheromones. It pumps you full of wonderful, wonderful, feel-good chemicals. So, being in love is pretty much the equivalent of all of these things, That's the chemical that all of these things are trying to recreate in your brain or give you more access to in your brain, okay, is those love chemicals. That's why it feels so good to do these things. Now, how love is dangerous. Well, anybody who's been in an abusive relationship can tell you why love is dangerous, because that cliche saying of love is blind does exist for a reason and has done so for many, many years. It also, the very chemicals that make you feel good and awesome are also chemicals that alter your consciousness. They also alter your train of thought. They alter your perceptions. It alters everything, how your body moves. Your eyes dilate, your pupils dilate, your heart starts to race, your breathing gets shallower. It does. So it is actually a type of stress. So it lets out stress hormones into your blood too. And if it's like that for long enough, you could have a heart attack or a stroke or something like that. You could create ulcers. So love is a wonderful thing when it is expressed wisely, okay? And it's utilized wisely. Just like all of these different types of drugs that we talked about here, you will make decisions when you are physically in love with somebody that you probably wouldn't make otherwise. That's why it's pretty dangerous to commit to long-term things with a partner until you've been with them for at least 2 years. Because it takes about 2 years for that physical love to start to die down and wear off, so you can really see the situation for what it is, for that high to come down. Okay? It takes 2 years for infatuation to start fading, for you to know whether it's emotional love, committed love, love that's actually gonna be there when you wake up in the morning and not cheat on you and not abuse you and not run off or do any of those crazy things, you know? So yes, just as the priest in Romeo and Juliet said to Romeo and Juliet on their wedding day, love modestly. Okay. So yeah. But those are our 10. Okay. Those are the things that we all do to chase the endorphins that we all want to have. And the 10th one is the reason why, because we're trying to simulate that 10th one. And so, yeah, I think that it says a lot about the psychology of our species and how important connection is. So if you're struggling with any of these things, you find yourself, addicted to any of these things. And yes, you can get addicted to love. In fact, a lot of people are. They feel like they can't live without a partner in their lives, or they'll put up with abusive family and friends just so they have people in their lives. We're social creatures. We do it. And if we can't get it in the way that we feel we need it, then we start using some of these other horrible, nasty things to try and simulate it. So yes, if you find yourself addicted to any of these things, please, please, please seek out help. There are tons of resources out there to help you out with addiction, with healthy relationship management, with self-love and self-care. There's tons and tons of resources. I mean, every single hospital in the UK, the United States, Germany, and France, for sure, that I know of, you can walk into their emergency areas, their emergency clinics, and tell them, hey, I have a problem, and they have a program for you, whatever your addiction is. Okay? It's wonderful to feel good. But if you want to live to continue to feel good, you got to do it the healthy way, man. And besides, I can tell you from experience as an ex-addict myself, actually, technically, I'm still an addict because I'm still smoking cigarettes. But as an ex-addict to other things myself, I can tell you this. You feel so much better when you create those endorphins by doing things that are of good quality in your life. For example, a podcast, and going there and meeting your goals than you ever will with any of these. Okay. So yes. Yeah. So I hope you guys found this educational. I really, really hope you guys found this educational. I hope you found it entertaining too. And I hope you definitely learned something, because yeah, this is a very, very serious subject. And there's a lot of people that, well, I would say probably almost everybody deals with this every day. And I want everybody to be happy and healthy, Weird, spooky, and creepy and strange things aside, I really enjoy all of you, and I really enjoy appreciate all of you, and I want you guys to come back and keep viewing this and keep going on this journey with me. I really do. So yeah. Lots of love to all of you. Really, truly. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great, great day or night. And I will see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.